In this video, we will show how to adjust curtain grids to create a panel suitable for a door. We will see how to load in door and window families for curtain walls, and we'll also show how to change curtain wall panels for doors and windows. I have the exercise file, curtain wall doors and windows open, and zooming into the atrium at the end of the building, we can see the curtain wall that we will add the doors and windows to. Although we have a door tool on the Architecture ribbon tab, the doors available from this tool will only work with basic walls. So to demonstrate this, from the Build panel on the Architecture ribbon tab, I'll click the door tool, and now as I move my cursor over the curtain wall, we'll see we have the symbol here that indicates that the door cannot be hosted by this wall. If I move my cursor over to one of the basic walls, then we can see we get the preview that means we could place the door into this basic wall. So I'll click Modify to cancel this command. In order to place a door or window in a curtain wall, we first need to load in specific door and window families for curtain walls. To do this, we'll go to the Insert ribbon tab, and from the Load from Library panel, we'll choose Load Autodesk Family. This will open up the cloud-based Autodesk content browser. And first, we just need to check that the locale settings are set to be United States Imperial. Once we've done this, we'll use the Search Content box here, and we'll search for curtain wall. Then the results that are shown below here all have curtain wall in their name, and we can see that we have a curtain wall awning window and 3 doors as well, and these we can use to place into our curtain wall. So I'll select the door curtain wall single glazed and also the curtain wall awning window, and then I'll click load at the bottom, and these will be downloaded into our project. So now that we have those loaded, we can place them in the curtain wall, and to do this we must select one of the panels and then swap it for the family that we've loaded. So I'll select this panel here, we'll put our mouse near the edge and use the tab key if necessary to select it. And then looking at the type selector, we can see it's the system panel glazed, and if I select this, scrolling up a little, we can see that we have the families that we've just loaded. So I'll choose the door curtain wall single glass family, and we can see now that that's replaced the glazed panel, and it's just stretched itself to be the full size of that panel. So whenever we place a door or window into a curtain wall, they will adjust themselves to be the size of the panel that we've placed them into. So if I select this door, we can see that it's over 15 feet high and nearly 5 foot wide. So really we need to create a panel that's the suitable size for the door. Before we do this, I'll click Undo from the Quick Access toolbar at the top of the interface to bring the glazed panel back. And now we'll go to the Architecture ribbon tab, and from the Build panel, we'll choose the Curtain Grid tool. Now looking at the placement options on the Modify ribbon here, we'll change it to one segment. Now I'll go over the panel, and on one of the vertical grid lines on the side here, we'll click to divide it horizontally. And then using the temporary dimensions, we'll set this to be 8 feet high. Now we'll divide it vertically so that it's the right width for the door. So again, we'll go along the horizontal mullion now and then click. And using the temporary dimensions above here, we'll set this to be 3 foot 6 wide. And now we can see that we have a panel that's going to be the suitable size for our door. So I'll click Modify to finish creating the curtain grids. And now before we place the panel in, we'll make some adjustments to the mullions. The mullion across the bottom here isn't needed, as this will be the door and we don't need to step over the mullion. So we'll select that mullion. Again, we may need to use the tab key to highlight it and then select it. And we can see it's pinned as it's part of the type properties, so we'll click the symbol to unpin it. And then going up to the Modify ribbon, we'll choose Delete to delete that mullion off completely. Now looking at the vertical mullion, we'll select this one. And we'll change this to be a smaller mullion, so we'll unpin this. And now looking at the type selector, we can see it's the 2.5 by 5 inch rectangular. We'll change it to the 1.5 by 2.5 rectangular mullion, and we can see that changed in the model now. We can also see that it breaks the larger mullion top and bottom, so I'll click on the toggle join grips either end so that it spans between those two larger mullions. So now we're ready to place the door into this panel, so we'll choose the panel that's already here, and we can see that that's now the system panel glazed. And from the type selector, I'll choose the door curtain wall single glass family. And we can see that's now filled in the panel that we made with the curtain grid tool. So now we'll open up the floor 1 floor plan view from the project browser. And zooming into the area where we've placed the door, we can see that we have the door and it has the door swing as we would expect. And if I select it, we can see we have the controls to flip the orientation as per a normal door. So now I'll swap back to the 3D view, and we finished placing that door in the curtain wall as we want it. Looking above, we have some smaller panels that we'd like to replace with opening windows to provide some ventilation into the atrium when required. So I'll select one of these panels, again hover over the edge, use the tab key if necessary to select it. And we can see now that that's the system panel glazed. So from the type selector, we'll change this to be the curtain wall awning window that we loaded earlier. We can see straight away now that that fits into that panel, and we can see the frame of the window around the edge. So now we want to do the same for the other smaller panels. But to do this, we'll go to the Modify Ribbon tab first, and then from the clipboard panel, we'll choose the Match Type Properties tool. We'll select the curtain wall awning window as the object to copy, and now we can simply go to the other panels and click to paste that into those panels there. So I'll choose Modify to finish the Match Type Properties tool, and that completes placing the doors and windows into this curtain wall.